NBC Sports, Payne Weber College Basketball welcomes you to one of the great settings in the college world. Two of the richest traditions in the college game meet head-on here in Durham, North Carolina. The defending national champion UCLA Bruins against the rapidly improving Duke Blue Devils. Dick Vitale, I'm Brett Musburger. Good afternoon and welcome everybody. Dick, when we saw Duke earlier in the season, we thought going to be a struggle to make the tournament. No longer. This is an improving team.
I think they're a lock for the tournament no matter what happens here today. I think today they play for respect. Think of these marquee games. ACC, anytime they had a marquee game, they were beaten. Wake Forest, they get beat by Massachusetts. North Carolina, they get beat by Villanova. Hey, UCLA, they beat Maryland. This game is for respect, baby. They want to get back with the upper echelon, the ACC.
And Dick, for detractors of Jim Herrick, the UCLA coach, consider this a win today. 8 consecutive years with at least 20 victories. The man is underrated as a coach.
Oh, that's unbelievable what he's achieved. Only 2 other coaches have made that happen. Denny Crum at Louisville, and also Everett Case, who did a great job at North Carolina State. Rocking and rolling today, Mr. Musburger.
Gonna be a great scene. We got to make our way upstairs. Let's go to Lewis Johnson right now with the UCLA coach. Lewis.
Brett, thanks a lot, Coach. If you've been looking for a hostile environment to test the Bruin machine before the tournament, you found it right here at Duke, haven't you?
For the tournament, this is a great game for us to come in here, and it's called playing with poise under pressure.
What sort of advice did you give your club to try and control the emotional part of this game? The emotions will play a big part, won't it?
It's called play through. You play through the crowd, the officials, the coach, the announcers. You play through everything.
Coach, thank you so much, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, John, Dick, and Brett are on their way to the booth. We'll send it back to you in New York.
And I hope they have sure hands. That looked like them carrying you out against the victory against UMass, except those fans wanted to dump you.
No, they would have dropped me.
All right, Mike Jarvis, the head coach of George Washington, fresh off his victory against UMass at UMass yesterday. In this one, you wonder how UCLA, a young team, will respond to that type of a crowd.
Well, I think they're going to respond well. They've already clinched their league pretty much, and this is a great preparation for them for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, trying to defend the national championship, and Jim Herrick has plenty of pressure on him, but again, with a young team carrying that banner, and then you look at the Duke Blue Devils, they need this victory if they're going to secure a berth.
Well, they do, and I think they know that, and they've got something that UCLA doesn't have. They've got the Cameron crazies behind them, and they're going to have to figure out a way of how to take them out of the game early.
Okay, we hope that Dick Vitale and Brent Musburger made it up to the booth safely. At halftime, we'll speak with Lou Henson, who retired yesterday as head coach at Illinois, effective the end of this season. We'll see him at halftime, and also scores and highlights, and more from Mike Jarvis. The tip is coming up.
It's how we do it. And Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
The Cameron Indoor Stadium, the Bruins of UCLA, the defending national champions, come in here. The story as far as their lineup is concerned today is the fact that Charles O'Bannon, for a disciplinary reason, will not start the game today. Toby Bailey, of course, one of their standout members of last year's championship team, averaging almost 15 points a game. So Johnson draws that starting spot. For the Duke Blue Devils, they have, Dick, I guess they've used a variety of starting lineups, but they're finally settling on this one.
They're settling on a new lineup. They've lost Carmen Wallace. Domzalski starting. They live by the 3. UCLA, very athletic. Look at this. They've never won here at Cameron, 0-3. But a lot of non-conference teams have never won here.
So there is Charles O'Bannon, the younger brother of Ed, who is now playing in the NBA. 3 starting members of the championship team have gone on to the NBA, yet they will tell you, Jim Herrick and the rest of these Bruins, that this is a pretty talented basketball team. Inside pass, and there's their first field goal. There's one of their best players right there.
Great execution. Good 2-man play. Got the ball down inside. Excellent look by Cameron Dollar. Tremendous score inside by McCoy.
Now Dick, J.R. Henderson rebounding, whips it to McCoy underneath, and McCoy with the field goal.
Boy scores on the inside. We saw his dad. The previous basket was Henderson. We're so high up, Brent. They got us up in the rafters. I can't get my breath from trying to get up here. Wow.
You had a nice lift up.
I gotta send him a bill. I'm exhausted. I got to see a doctor.
Capel almost lost the dribble. Sends it back now to Price. Remember, the Blue Devils will live by the threes. Domzalski is eaten up on the inside.
Score it. Score it. They scored a goal. The Cameron Crazy. There's a look at Mike Krzyzewski. All kinds of rumors circulating with the Illinois job, but there's the diaper dandy, Mr. McCoy. He blocked 11 shots against Maryland. We're going to have Lou Henson on. Lu's going to be on with John Saunders.
Dollar, the point man, still playing with the bandage on the right hand. And this is Johnson, who has drawn the start, the son of Marcus. And he fires an air ball, and it goes over to the Blue Devils. 4-2 UCLA. And a year ago in the Poly, it was the Bruins ripping the Blue Devils, and that started their triumphant march to a national championship. Scagliotta's the referee, and he's assisted by Rose and Croft here today. And now Price comes up firing. That's a trifecta.
He has really been playing well, averaging 18 points a game down the stretch. In his last few games, he's been brilliant.
His friend is Bailey, whom he has the ball right now. They grew up together in Southern California. Their fathers traveling together here for the game. Bailey has to give it up, knocked out of bounds by this hustling, aggressive Duke Blue Devil defense.
Yes, Toby Bailey's dad and Ricky Price's dad flew out here together. Grew up. They said they played against each other since the 6th grade. A lot of respect. Nice pass.
Man is Johnson again underneath, and that's his second field goal. He opened up the game with the first field goal, and now he hits his second. And it is 6-5 as a result. Bruins up by 1 on Chris Collins and the Blue Devils. Collins penetrates all the way. Offensive rebound, Newton.
Newton really effective on the inside. He's gotten better and better as the years progressed. Very effective on the interior. His development has really helped his Duke team become a better basketball team.
This is Henderson on the outside, and he was fouled by Newton. Newton's first personal, but it was at the other side where Newton came through with his aggressive putback.
There's Newton working on the offensive boards from out of Canada. He's a Canadian Comet. I mean, super quick, explosive, around the basket. Really has become a player to be reckoned with on the inside. Great dish. They pull off
the other way. Offensive foul.
Frank Scagliotta with the call, and he's look at Jimmy Herrick smile, very relaxed today. Not a lot of pressure. There's the drive down the lane, and there's the bump, and there's the charge prior to releasing the basketball.
Jimmy had an argument, Dick. He was coming a little bit late from the weak side on that time. It's 7-6. The Devils with a 1-point lead over the Bruins.
This is going to be a great game. The attitude, the atmosphere, the players are relaxed.
Left-hand Capel. Got the roll.
He hit 4 big threes to beat Florida State in a shootout in their last game. Chris Collins made 7.
Dollar trying to get it into the hands, and the Bruins turn it over. He was trying to hit down on the inside. Jelani McCoy, the freshman pivot man.
Nice pass by Cameron Dollar. Good inside, but it goes outside. Out of bounds, but a good look. Cameron Dollar is their glue. They need him. Without him, they turn the ball over a great deal.
Domzalski backs in. Good double team help by McCoy, who is maturing into an outstanding defensive player. But the Bruins sloppy with the basketball. That has been their problem. 2 quick turnovers for the Bruins will send it back.
I'll tell you one thing, Brent. Jelani McCoy has become such a major force in that lane. Ready for this? He had the first triple-double in the history of UCLA.
Collins, who burned Florida State from outside, misses his trifecta that time, and Capel comes back with another one. Underneath and tied up. Domzalski going to be assessed the personal. Pushing foul underneath. It's going to go against the Blue Devils.
There's a look at McCoy out of San Diego. Look at the numbers right here. 68.2 from field goal. Scores a lot on the inside. He broke David Greenwood's record. Greenwood had the record. He played in 76. There's a look at Mr. McCoy. 84 block shots.
Blue Devils lead it by 3. Henderson, one hand from the right side. Offensive rebound and a putback for the field goal. So Bailey with his first field goal of the game.
Toby Bailey, Mr. Versatility. He was brilliant in that win over Arkansas for the national title. He was sensational in transition.
Not to mention Dollar coming off the bench and replacing Tyus Edney, who was in foul trouble in that game.
Yeah, he really executed their offense. Playing without the little guy, doing super now at Sacramento. Tyus Edney.
Rattles out. Domzalski, offensive rebound, coming back with the left hand. Can't get it. Got it
Great
back
effort.
again.
Great effort.
Hustle. They reject it.
What a
again.
great effort.
Still now it's Newton coming on the inside. He's pummeled in the face. I'll tell you, Newton is taken down hard by Jelani McCoy. He'll come to the free throw line. I mean, they were attacking the offensive glass that time.
Look at this guy attacking. Take the glasses off again. Take them off. Look at him working the glass. I mean, these Windex guys. Look at him working. Domzalski. Oh, look at him going up strong. The second time, he had a lot of kabasi. Mike Krzyzewski fed him. Domzalski. Krzyzewski. He wants more. And now Mr. Newton joins the pack. And there's the swat. Wow, that hurt. That hurt.
Tough foul. Newton never even looked at him. Comes to the free throw line, and you got to think now that the Bruins are going to have to bring Mr. O'Bannon on here pretty soon.
They've really been playing with 7 guys, the Bruins. Now O'Bannon is their really 6th man in this situation. Normally a starter, and Johnson comes off the bench. But Bob Meyer's been a real pleasant surprise as an inside player, former walk-on.
Bailey trying to run it down, out of bounds. So we'll take a timeout. UCLA ball when we return. 10-8. Duke leads it by a deuce. Leading UCLA 10-8. And the Bruins with this possession. Dollar bringing it up. Wojciechowski. Wojo checks into the game for the first time. The battle of the glass going on between these two teams. And, of course, this was a point of emphasis for UCLA. But they have been sloppy with the ball. That's their 4th turnover here in less than 5 minutes, Dick.
They average about 18 turnovers a game. That's been a concern of Jim Herrick, handling the basketball. That's why Dollar becomes so important. Bailey's played a lot of minutes at the point guard slot, but he's more comfortable in his scoring position.
Price up with a jumper left side, hits it. The Devils are up by 4.
He's a big-time player, and he's really starting to believe it now. He's really stepped up. He's got star ability all over him, Brent.
Dick Brunson, the soccer player, number 31, is checked in for Duke during that timeout. And Brunson with the ball now on the steal. And again, the Bruins have given it up without a shot attempt. So this Blue Devil defense leads the way. And Capel's trifecta.
I'll tell you, the CNC gang can knock down the trifecta. Capel and Collins, they can really shoot that long-range shot. I'll tell you, these fans make you want to play. You feel their emotion.
Dollar feels it at the other end. The point man for the Bruins bringing it to the right baseline, and it's 15-10, a 5-point lead. This figures to be a very close game.
Cameron Dollar's dad won his 600th game this year as a high school coach in Atlanta, Georgia, Carver High School. He's here.
Price up on top, whips it quickly, and Capel's going again. Had a good look at the basket that time. And again, it is Domzalski with an offensive rebound, and he'll step to the free throw line.
I'll tell you, one of the signs, Brent, of playing aggressive basketball is offensive rebounding. Blocking shots, forcing turnovers, and offensive rebounding is a key. That means you're being aggressive. There's Taman Domzalski with a good head fake. Watch him working on the inside. Number 13, he keeps the ball alive, and then he has the good hands. He's going to be a very good player here. Not a superstar, but a very good player at Duke.
17-10. Duke with the lead, and Domzalski on the line.
I think UCLA's got to run the table to get a number 2 seed out in the West. They have to beat the 2 Washington schools, which they have at home, and the 2 Oregon schools on the road.
We had a shot of Kevin Dempsey, who checked in for UCLA with Charles O'Bannon, not starting for disciplinary reasons and still on the bench. 13:45 to go in the first half. The Blue Devils leading the Bruins by 8. Dollar trying to jump it on the inside to Johnson. Capel was able to get it out of bounds.
Depending how severe the infraction is, that's determining what Jimmy Herrick's going to do in terms of Charles O'Bannon. Basically, what we have heard, it was a minor team infraction. We will see. The longer he stays out, the more severe that infraction is.
Dempsey missing. Duke ball.
Duke kids are really getting to the basketball. That means they're really a little bit livelier. They're a little bit quicker to the basketball early in this game. But UCLA is a great spurt basketball team. They live off the spurt.
So the Blue Devils with 10 points off 5 turnovers, and that certainly is the difference in the game as they lead it by 8, 18-10, 13-14 to go.
Perimeter defense is important against Duke to shut down the three-point shooters.
Newton missing, and another offensive snatch out of Newton's hands, and finally Dollar is able to come out. Pounded. Dollar shooting.
Cameron Dollar tried to make something happen in transition. The Duke kids are really quick to the basketball. They are so alert and so active, they're getting to all offensive rebounds. As the ball popped up, look at the Duke kid. Newton touches it first, but here comes Dollar out of the pack. And that Dollar was like $1 million the way he played against Arkansas.
Bob Myers checking in for the Bruins. He wears number 24. So it's McCoy, Myers, Johnson, Dempsey, and Dollar on the free throw line. Now, Dollar has broken the pinky on both the left and the right hand. You'll see just a small bandage on the left pinky, but the right hand is still trouble. This has been a factor in the problem area for the Bruins. You can imagine, here's your point man, and he breaks one pinky after another. Now, just imagine trying to dribble the basketball up, and that's why Bailey was moved over to the point for a while. Missing on the free throw on the rotation, 18-11 now. And Wojo brings it down for the Devils.
And that certainly affects the rotation and affects your team in terms of rhythm. It moves Bailey to where he's not comfortable, and that changes the whole rotation.
Devils staying at that perimeter, but they have pounded away on the offensive glass. Price trying to get inside Dempsey, and Dempsey fouls it.
Duke for years has lived off dribble penetration like we just witnessed there by Ricky Price, trying to make things happen off of the dribble. There's a look at Collins. 7 threes, tied a school record against Florida State. They shot 14 for 28 in that game, 3-point.
Brunson sits down, and that ovation is for the return of Domzalski, who is very popular for his work underneath the glass here in the early going so far. 3 offensive rebounds for the Devils. Penetration, Collins, other side opens. Wojciechowski burns him with the tray.
And Brent, you know what made that happen? The simple little dribble penetration to draw help, and then the kick-out pass out to the wing. And Wojciechowski has really played well. He'll scrap and he'll claw.
McCoy, the freshman, bringing it back outside. Dollar tries to penetrate, and he draws another personal foul.
The one thing UCLA has to do is get out in transition. Duke is trying to do a heck of a job trying to keep them from getting into their transition game and make them play 5-on-5.
Dick, it was a year ago. You remember the game. We were at the Poly, 100-77. UCLA outscored Duke 60-40 with a withering fast break in the second half. And that sort of set the tone for the Bruins championship drive.
Well, you liked them right out of the gate there. You said, I love this team. They're going to win it all. My sidekick here, Mr. Musburger, said they would win the championship. I wrote about it in my book. I gave you credit, partner.
Yeah, but you didn't follow up on it up on ESPN during the tournament. You kept picking away from the Bruins.
I kept saying they weren't going to win.
We got a timeout, partner. We'll be right back. Saturday at 2 Eastern and Pacific, top-ranked UMass takes on Louisville. Out west, these Bruins meet Oregon. Then next Sunday at 3:45 Eastern, Dick, North Carolina takes on Duke. National showdown all next weekend right here on ABC.
Couldn't happen to a better guy. What a great choice Pepperdine made, getting Lorenzo Romar. And there's the guy somebody better call up, Tommy Amica. He is ready for a big-time job. He's a tremendous guy, very bright, does a great job at teaching. Romar, love him. He communicates well with athletes. Pepperdine, you should be saluted.
Dollar rattles out, and it's one and out for the Bruins. They are being out-rebounded. Duke is getting 2 shots for every shot the Bruins have taken in this game.
And that means you're out hustling. That means you're out scrapping your club. When you're getting on a glass like that, you are out hustling them, especially with guys like Henderson and McCoy on the inside.
Now the Devils with their half-court game, very patiently waiting for something to open up. Capel to the corner, and coming down is Price. Down the baseline for the field goal.
What a great first step. Had a lot of English on the basketball. Well, what a tremendous first step on that baseline. He's so explosive. I really love him, Brent. I think he's going to become one of the great players in college basketball. Just a matter of wanting it.
Bailey, very aggressive Duke defense, forcing UCLA into bad shots.
And if you're Duke, you want Cameron Dollar shooting the basketball. Mike Krzyzewski working like you can't believe. Look at Price on that first step to the baseline. Now look at him, going to come back with his body. Look at the spin. Look at that English. He gets that English, and he gets the roll. He's at home, so the roll goes his way, Mr. Musburger.
Dick, that foul was on Bob Myers, his first. 5 team fouls on the Bruins, 4 on the Blue Devils. The Blue Devils have dominated. Price will go again, short into the hands of Henderson. 23-11 now, Dick, and 10 minutes to go in the first half.
UCLA really wanted Ricky Price. He was the premier high school player in California his senior year.
Henderson can't make it go, and the Devils still give him 1 and out. And Dollar is saying, hey, look at that sharp elbow Collins is throwing. Collins!
Oh, that's just not hustling the whole club. Somebody's got to step in that lane. The first rule you learn in defensive transition, stop the ball. Stop the ball.
Tough environment for the Bruins now. Quick pass by Dollar to Henderson. Henderson is hit by Domzalski. No field goal.
Henderson has been their most complete player and most consistent. Look at Collins right now. Dollar very upset. See, you got to play basketball. See, Cameron was refereeing, and he didn't get back. And now he goes the length of the court. Nobody helps Cameron out to stop the ball.
So after a brief break, the freshman McCoy, who seemed to be slightly overwhelmed underneath the glass, he was over with Coach Herrick on the Bruins sideline, and now he checks back in. Dempsey's still on the floor, and Herrick looking for a little more aggression underneath. There's the kind of play. Johnson goes to the glass for the field goal with 9.5 minutes to go.
He can score around the basket. Only about 6'4", went to Crenshaw where his dad went.
The 3 from Capel. Not there, but right into the hands of the Devils, and Capel penetrates this time.
I'll tell you, he's an underrated player. He doesn't get the kind of recognition he deserves. They got an intentional foul call here. An intentional foul against called, I believe, against UCLA. We're way up here, Brent, but I thought they called an intentional foul, which means 2 shots in the basketball to Duke.
UCLA losing its composure here.
And there's Charles O'Bannon sitting on that bench. Jimmy Herrick really sending a message of discipline to O'Bannon.
So Brunson, on the intentional foul, steps to the line for the Devils.
Youngster's really interesting. The only player to play in a Final Four in soccer and in basketball.
Now watch on the replay as he misses this. It'll be Devils ball. Watch on the left-hand side. We're told by our producer Kim Belton, which an elbow.
Couldn't see it right there, but they claimed there was an elbow throw.
9-13, and it's 28-13. Collins penetrates. And Dempsey brings it down for the Bruins. Pass deflected out of bounds by Capel.
That's been their problem, handling the basketball. They got humbled really big time in Hawaii, losing to Vanderbilt and losing to Santa Clara. Then they went on the road. They played Kansas great for a half, and then Kansas blew them away in the second half. But since then, they've been really playing well, UCLA.
Dempsey with a rare offensive rebound, but misses on the shot, and Henderson is fouled, and that was Brunson, I believe, committing the personal foul for the Devils.
You know, Brett, you look at their numbers, they were 2-3 out of the game. They're now 19-6. They lost the game to Arizona at Arizona. They lost to Stanford in a one-pointer, a real nip-and-tucker. So Jimmy Herrick really readjusted, got his club to start playing after getting humbled early.
Henderson looking good on that one-hander off the glass, 28-15, his first field goal of the game.
He's Mr. Versatility. He can play almost any position on the floor.
Chris Collins is 3.
He can shoot the 3. Last year had a foot problem and his numbers were down. But he brings so much passion to the floor.
Bailey on a
tap back, not there. Bailey goes after it hard in the corner. And personal is on Wojo.
Bailey had that big game last year, had 26 points, 9 rebounds against Arkansas.
Let's check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
And we're going to check the top of the Big Ten, where Purdue is trying for a 3rd consecutive outright title, first time since Ohio State in the 60s. Chad Austin hits a 3 to give them the lead against Indiana. Then Brian Evans tries for the win. It won't go, and Purdue survives at Indiana, 74-72. Brent.
What a year. Gene Cady has been brilliant. You talk about a guy that's up for Coach of the Year honors. They better think about the name of Cady. I had them earlier in the season when they got blown out by Memphis, blown out by Villanova, and they have played brilliantly. So he may win the Big Ten title 3 straight years. The last time that happened, Brent, was Fred Taylor with the great Jerry Lucas teams in the 60s, Ohio State.
Dick Bailey hitting that free throw. It's 31-17. Duke with the ball and the lead. Henderson with position underneath, and the Bruins starting to pick it up just a little bit. They need a run. Bailey out of control. Out of control.
Totally out of control. That's wild, wild, wild.
Collins the 3. Not there, but now UCLA not giving the Blue Devils control of the offensive glass. Dempsey quickly moves to McCoy. The freshman will try to get into the scoring column, and he did with aggression. His 2nd field goal as Charles O'Bannon
keeps looking at the clock. He says, Coach, when, Coach? And Coach is saying, you know what? I just have my spies tell me. I'll tell you, Brent, it's a situation where he's got to understand that you've got to follow team rules and regulations. When practice is called, you got to be on time.
I think the message Jim Herrick is sending out, you don't give stars different punishments than you do the rest of the team.
No preferential treatment. That's the way you win. See, ultimately you win when you have discipline. You must have discipline.
Capel replaces Collins. 7:09 to go. 31-19. The Blue Devils have been very strong, shooting 1-1 now.
His brother Ed had such a great year. You talk about a role model last year. Here's a kid that had ACL, and he works himself when a lot of people didn't think he'd make it. Charles's brother Ed goes on and becomes the College Player of the Year, and is one beautiful guy. I had the pleasure to present him his award at the ESPY Awards as Player of the Year. This place will be going nuts next week, huh, when North Carolina comes in. You know, I was looking at Duke right here. They got 16 wins. They lost 4 heartbreakers that went to the last second. Clemson game, they lost to Temple by 1. They lost to Carolina by 1. And they lost by 2 to Georgia Tech. Boy, look at the numbers they might have. He's got back, I think, the spirit that existed after last year's dismal year.
33-19. The Blue Devils open up a huge lead here in the first half. Coming up now at halftime, the Network MCI halftime report, and certainly there'll be more on Lou Henson, who announced yesterday after the team defeated Iowa that he is stepping down at the conclusion of the season as the head coach of Illinois. Now, we see Chris Collins with Quinn Snyder, one of the assistant coaches, but it's the head coach of this team who becomes a factor in the Illinois story. And Mike Krzyzewski, with the rumors swirling back in the Chicago area. You know, anybody can pick up a telephone and start a rumor and say, oh, these alums are going to put up this huge package. Illinois is going to hire Krzyzewski. Hold on a minute. Somebody better ask Mike.
Well, I asked him, Brad. I'll tell you, we were in a locker room. You can forget about it. They'll be wasting their time. There is no way he will leave Duke and run to Illinois. Though, he wants a little bit more of a commitment right here at Duke from the hierarchy. It can't be a one-man gang. He wants commitment to facilities and quest of the goal. He wants everybody to unite. But they will be wasting their time. Mike Krzyzewski will not, and I say will not, be on the sideline at Illinois, even if they gave him a blank check.
6:28 to go here first half. 33-19. Duke with the lead. Wojo back to Price now. You know, going back to last year's blowout, Dick, and looking at the box score, Eddie O'Bannon, for example, he scored 37 points against Duke. He's missing in action. George Zedek, who's watching, he scored 13. And Tyus Edney, he scored 16. So they lost all the firepower horsepower, all three of them in the NBA. Zedek with a day off. He plays nearby over in Charlotte, so he's here watching the Bruins today. No team. Now I want everybody to listen to this statistic as you watch George Zedek. No team in the last 17 years in the NCAA has lasted past the second round if you're a champion and you've lost 3 of your 5 starters. That's the mountain which faces this UCLA team this year.
However, they could be a very dangerous team in a postseason. They quietly now are establishing themselves, playing a lot better, and a very, very dangerous foe they will be, especially at tournament time, because right now, other than Kentucky, there aren't really a lot of what you call dominant teams. They're capable of beating most clubs in the country when they're playing well.
You really believe that?
Well, I really believe if they're playing well and everybody else, majority of the teams out there aren't a lot of dominant teams, Brent. Kentucky is dominant.
Well, Kentucky is clearly the class of the field. I mean, there's no question about that.
Margin of victory is 22.7 right now, Kentucky.
Bailey gets it to Johnson and put it down. Basket counts. Goaltending.
Hey, what did you think of the article? I know you read it last night. You borrowed it from me. What did you think of the article on Patino?
Dick, I'm surprised about all the controversy, to tell you the truth. You know, Rick Pitino with a burning desire to win is what I got out of it.
You know what I got out of it? Partner, I'll tell you what I got out of it. I want to play for him. I want to play for the guy. I mean, he puts his heart and soul, his passion and love for what he's doing. Rick, call me up. Give me a scholarship.
Domzalski left hand puts it in. This has been a Blue Devil half. 7 points now for Domzalski. 35-21, 5:20 remaining.
They are really playing well defensively, and I tell you, I'm impressed with Domzalski, the development he's making.
Newton up over the top. He could have been called for a personal foul. He may have got away with hammering Johnson that time.
You know, we talked about earlier that UCLA hasn't won here in 3 tries. A lot of people haven't won here. In the last 100 games with non-conference teams, Duke is 99-1. The only one to beat them was Lou Henson, who beat them on December 2nd with Illinois. They beat Duke right here.
22nd timeout right now. Dick, I want to go back to what you said about UCLA being dangerous. The only observation that I have, this is the first time I've seen them in person, is they have not been tough enough on the glass. You can't give rebounding away like that at the NCAAs. In the early rounds, you could be very vulnerable.
Well, they can be vulnerable, but the bottom line is they also can beat people. And remember this, Brent, we're seeing them without one of their key elements. Charles O'Bannon is a key player. He's shooting 40% from three-point range. He's averaging 15 points a game. You take 15 out, you take experience out, not only experience, winning experience out, and a 77% free throw shooter and an athlete in transition, you're a different basketball team.
Well, the point guard's got the bandage on the left hand. They managed to move it over the other side. There is the putback. And that McCoy alive on that side. His 6th point here of the first half. 35-23. Now, he's the shot blocking king. You think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton, all those great players. McCoy's broken the single-season record for blocked shots.
Yeah, David Greenwood had it. 76 shots blocked. As I said earlier, in 1979.
There he goes again.
He also
influenced that shot, Dick. No question about it. Dollar leads Bailey. And now Collins will come back for the Devils.
Not a good pass. They got 4-on-2. Let's see what they get.
Newton got the roller, not to go, and yanked down now by the Bruins.
UCLA needs one little spurt to get a little confidence to go in at halftime. And if you do, you don't want to give them any kind of momentum here in the last 4 minutes.
Inside, Bailey fails to score. So his buddy Price with the upper hand here in the first half.
Shot selection's really been not strong for UCLA.
Collins penetrates. The foul before the shot.
That's always been one of the keys of Duke. Dribble penetration. Try to attack the gaps and seams of the defense.
Look who's here.
Oh, Lou
Henson, our man. And announcing that he's going to step down as head coach of the Illini, and we will hear from him at halftime. He'll be with John Saunders.
I'll tell you one thing, Brad. The guy has never been appreciated like he should be. I've often said guys like Lou and guys like Jimmy Boeheim, they've never received the kind of credit they deserve. The man won over 600 games. He's taken 2 teams to the Final Four. He's always been very cordial with the media. It's time now that old Lou will enjoy with his beautiful wife, Mary. I'll tell you, Lou, I think the man has been a great credit to Illinois basketball.
Agreed. 36-23. So would our boss, Dennis Swanson. He's a very close friend of Lou's.
Yeah, I know.
Dennis at one time was a manager of the basketball team down in Champaign.
Maybe Dennis will be up for that job. What do you think? Dennis loves basketball. He'll hire you and me as assistants. Wow.
He's a Marine. His practice will be too tough.
I'll tell you, he'd be tougher than Bobby Knight. We'll call him the General, General Swanson. There's Mike right here, disciple of the General, played at West Point for Robert Montgomery Knight at that point guard slot. He really loves point guards. He told me that's the one thing that they have to start, again, looking at and assessing, getting a point guard who can really run the transition game, penetrate, and make great decisions. And you and I, they got some great recruits visiting here. Shaheen Holloway, James from out of Prospect Hall, St. John's out of Maryland, Holloway's from New Jersey.
Stay tuned. We'll have the McDonald's All-Star
right
game.
here. Right here. The Dukies are recruiting, but so is UCLA recruiting James.
36-25. Blue Devils with the lead. UCLA and Duke back in 1964. The Bruins defeated Duke in the national championship game that started John Wooden's run of 10 titles in 12 years. One of the greatest runs in the history of sport.
Greatest coach of all time, the Wizard of Westwood, to go 7 in a row. You talk about repeating, how difficult. He repeated 7 times. It's incredible what John Wooden did.
Price penetrates, short on the jump shot, Brunson though with an offensive rebound.
You know what made John Wooden's win so special? He did it with big people, and he did it with little people. He did it with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, and he did it with the Goodridges and the Hazards in 1964.
No team has won more than 3 championships since that. John Wooden.
Good execution, Brand. Good ball reversal. John Wooden would like that style of play. Jim Herrick likes that style of play. The extra pass.
39-25.
Take a look what Duke does. They rotate into a zone, 1-2-2 zone.
McCoy, the freshman.
Jelani's going to be a special. He's a terrific talent. When you think about all the great players, as you mentioned earlier, the first triple-double, 15, 11, and 10, 11 block shots against Maryland, achieved by McCoy.
Now down to the 2-minute mark, and it's 39-27. Bruins folks are not out of this. One of Duke's problems has been they're a little bit thin. Very hot, tiring environment in here. They played extremely well. Brunson couldn't get it done that time. That was 2 blocks down there on the inside that time at 150. Dick, what you were talking about, that interior defense.
I'll tell you, he's special. When you got a guy in the lane that can alter shots like Camby and Duncan, you got a chance to win because they make you go to the perimeter. They take away your offensive efficiency inside.
Johnson comes out. Wouldn't fall, loose underneath. Finally, Newton wraps it up for the Devils. Here's Price. 120 now. 39-27. Capel not there, and Dollar's got it.
That was not a good shot. You want to manage the clock right there. You got the lead. You don't want to give this club a chance to get it under 10.
He's bumped by Capel, and that is the 19th foul.
By Diaper Dandies. Take a look at these Super 7. A lot of guys haven't heard of Damian Walker. The best one out of the group right there is Sharif Abdul-Rahim. And close by, Stephon Marbury. Tomorrow I'll be going to see Paul Pierce. Didn't have a good game yesterday, but he's had a solid year. McCoy's on a club, and I know you love Marbury.
No, I think Stephon Marbury is outstanding, but I think you left somebody off who belongs on the list from Virginia.
Oh, he's a good one. Courtney Alexander getting better and better. What about their win last night? Harold Dean shot 5 threes. They blew out Wake Forest.
They look very good, Dick. I'll tell you, it was upside-down day in the ACC. Clemson, Florida State, Virginia beating the top-ranked teams. You just turn the standings upside down. That's the kind of day it was.
And that's what the tournament's going to be about. Wide open.
And that's Chris Collins with a deuce, and it is 41-27. Minute to go as Charles O'Bannon, disciplined here. He's going to sit out the first half.
Chris Collins brings so much enthusiasm. I love guys that play with feeling and enthusiasm, and I love them a little more when they can stroke the jumper.
And there is Johnson into the lane for the field goal. Now
Marcus Johnson's son, he had 36 against California. 36 the old way, not 1-3. He was like 12 for 17 from the field, and he had 12 free throws. Came out of Crenshaw High School last year, was a little bit, too heavy. Marcus pushed him away from the table, worked him out, and now he's become a solid player. Second leading scorer in the Pac-10.
Collins on the penetration, misfiring. They'll have to hurry. They got 5 seconds now to get it down. Dollar will try to set the table. Johnson on the right is open, high off the glass, forced to rush because of the clock, and that's going to do it. So we'll see if we see Charles O'Bannon in the second half. We'll return with John Saunders after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Against the defending national champion UCLA Bruins, the Duke Blue Devils played with a fire in their belly in the first half.
He's on.
Chris Collins leading the way with 11 points for the Blue Devils in the first half, Dick. At the other end, the big story for the Bruins is the fact that Charles O'Bannon did not see any playing time. Disciplinary reasons, he was held out of the first half. Here are the numbers, and Dick, clearly the three-point field goal is the most important.
Well, we talked about how Duke utilizes the three-point shot. They were 14 for 28 against Florida State with the big win. They make 5. UCLA makes 0. You don't have to go to Harvard to figure it out. That's 15 points to zip, baby. Hey, we had the Ohio players today. Yesterday, Parliament Funkadelic with George Clinton. And I know you love Garth Brooks. I can't even get it out. Garth Brooks.
You look good in a cowboy hat and boots, partner, riding up over a hill in Montana.
I will never forget you with the cowboy hat on at the Dallas, when I was in Dallas, the Final Four in '86, and you were visiting the farm where they made the movie or made that show, Dallas. And look at sitting the pine. He's all pine today. He's all pine. That's Mr. O'Bannon sitting the wood, being sent the message. Discipline, discipline. You must follow the rules of the team. Johnson with 12, second leading scorer for UCLA in the Pac-10. Not second leading scorer in the Pac-10 for UCLA.
Capel, Price, Collins, and Newton, along with Price, who was handling the ball. And Domzalski down to the low blocks, makes a spinning move, gets it back, knocked away, and now the Bruins come back down with Johnson, Dollar, McCoy. And it's Johnson again. He has been their leading scorer with 14 points. He's replacing O'Bannon. He's their leading scorer. It's down to 10 right now.
He really does a great job scoring off the bench, so they have an extra weapon with Johnson. But really, that was not a pretty fast break, but they did convert. These first 4 minutes, so important to UCLA.
Inside it is Newton. And the Bruins give him one and out now. Looking for back-to-back field goals. Dollar goes cross now to Knight, who looks in. Knight was a bit out of control in the first half. He'll try to put his game back together.
You mean Bailey? Bailey right now is struggling. Bailey and Henderson, you and I talked about it off the air, have been invisible. And both guys are such talents.
Now here is Bailey making the penetration deck. Gets it back on the inside, and he is stuffed through Paul.
I'll tell you, he is struggling. His brother's here, Ryan, who plays for Hargrave Military School, who committed to go to Southern Cal. Toby Bailey saying, "Woods, I can't get a break. I'm a star. I was the star in the Final Four."
10-point Blue Devil lead. Domzalski wants the ball in low on Bailey. It spins on him again, and a foul up over the top. It's against Domzalski.
Yeah, he did.
That's
climb.
his third personal.
They did climb. UCLA's got to do a better job defensively of beating the cutter to the basketball. And if they're going to make things happen today, they're going to have to do it in terms of transition and make something happen with their defense to get some easy points. Bailey's got to step it up. He's got star ability.
McCoy being guarded by Domzalski, and now out of the zone, he comes over to help out on the other side.
Showing some patience right now. Execution really the key.
And away from the ball, there was a collision.
Capel called for a hold.
That's his third personal.
Hey, big weekend right here when you talk about it for Temple and George Washington. Temple with a big win. There's a Mike Krzyzewski lost to Temple. Temple's got some great wins. Kansas, Villanova. They beat Duke and Virginia Tech today. They can creep into the tournament.
Johnson bottled up.
Nice pass.
Team gets it to Henderson. And the foul is called.
3 seconds.
Against them on the 3 seconds.
3-second violation. You don't see that too often, but it's called down in that lane. Jimmy Herrick, you talk about a competitor and a fighter, did a great job at Pepperdine. 8 years in a row, 20 wins. Only 3 coaches have achieved that. First 8 years.
Capel missing, back into the hands of Collins. Knocked away. Collins scrambling for the loose ball, out of bounds, Duke ball.
Hustling and scrapping. What a great achievement that is. Mike Krzyzewski, we know about his achievements, back-to-back titles. But you think about your first 8 years as a coach, and you win 20 or more games. Only 3 guys ever made that happen. And that was Everett Case at North Carolina State and Denny Craw. But Jimmy Herrick has made it happen at UCLA when he gets his 20th.
Capel rejected. Capel misfiring, tracked down now by Bailey. Bailey gives it to Dollar.
Oh, look at this.
Back.
Look at this. Oh, get the mustard out. Tinsel down. Hollywood, he's a star. Mr. O'Bannon, follow the rules, baby. They need you. They want you. They love you.
Now it's an 8-point game. The Bruins have cut down inside at 10.
We watch the drive down the lane. There's McCoy. Look at that rejection ability. I know Mike Jarvis would like to have this guy. What a great win he had yesterday. There's the round the back. What an unbelievable talent. You're seeing a star is born in Jelani McCoy.
Newton. And it's back to 10. The Blue Devils. That's 5 for Newton.
That's a big basket. You break a little momentum that UCLA has. That's the high post offense, back screen, step out.
Johnson, goaltending on Domzalski, put it away. It's an 8-point lead for Duke.
Johnson does a great job holding position down in a low block. They did an excellent job executing the 2-man game on the weak side. Mike Krzyzewski bringing back that spirit after last year when they had that down year. He's got them hustling and scrapping.
Wojo in off the bench, running things along with Collins. Capel will watch for a time. Domzalski faces up on Henderson, sends it back Newton, and now they work twice. So it's trying to work the baseline. He's cut off beautifully that time by Dollar. Collins dribble penetration, short into the hands of Newton, and Newton is fouled by Bailey.
Offensive rebound is really going to plus here for Duke. Bailey and Henderson a little bit slow going to the basket. They need both guys to step it up here in the next 16 minutes.
And here comes O'Bannon, I believe. I believe that Charles O'Bannon is up and coming into the game for the first time with 16:05 to go. And the Bruins down by 8. Bailey sits down.
Charles hit a big shot to beat Southern Cal. Charles comes from a great family and is really a very good kid. But sometimes a message has to be sent to players when they don't want to follow the team rules. And that's what Jim O'Herrick's doing. And I think Mike Jarvis or any coach will tell you, you have to have
parents would undoubtedly, who are here, support it.
They follow him all over. They are a great mom and dad. I've gotten to know them over the years at banquets, at different activities, and they're beautiful people.
Obviously, they liked Herrick's leadership as Charles followed it to UCLA, and now he'll see if he can bring his team from behind. One of the leaders, Charles O'Bannon, and traveling on Johnson, they have turned it over.
And a turnover like Chris Johnson. He's a competitor as well.
We've got a timeout. It's 44-35. The Blue Devils.
No, there isn't a fountain of youth. But we do know that proper
Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Network MCI. How to get modern communications technology working for your business. Boost. Help keep your body at its best with new Boost Nutritional Energy Drink. And Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted.
Lewis Johnson, didn't that fellow you're with know that his son is in Detroit?
I think he does. Hey, Calvin, good to see you. Not surprised to see you on the sideline. Grant's been gone for a couple of years, but you still must have great ties to this Duke basketball program.
Well, you know, what Coach K and Tommy Amaker did for my son, I'll have ties to this program until I die.
I know you will, Brent. We'll go to you for this first play here.
Chris Collins bringing it down. Wojo on the floor with Newton, Domzalski, and Price. For the Bruins. Johnson puts it, comes all the way with the left hand, knocked away now. And Price streaking down the sideline. Pull up. Not there. And Dollar, who really is bothered by that hand as you watch him perform here today. It's amazing that he's able to do what he has accomplished so far.
I'll tell you, he's a gutty kid, a real gutty kid, and a very important player to this team.
Henderson, and there was a pushing foul down pointed at Newton. Let's go back to Lewis.
Thanks, Brett. Calvin, I got to ask you, with all the seriousness and the importance of this game, where's the lucky hat? Is this it? Is this the one that you wore to Grant's games?
This is the lucky hat. This hat won 118 games and 2 national championships.
I have a feeling it's helping Grant in Detroit also, huh?
Well, I should probably send it up there. You know, they're right at 500, but this is the winningest hat in 4 years.
All right, good to see you. Enjoy the game.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
Brent.
All right, Lewis, the Bruins with the ball, trailing 44-35. 15:09 to go here.
I'll tell you, rather than a hat, Mike Krzyzewski said, keep the hat, get me another Grant. I mean, Grant was, you talk about special, you talk about big time. I think the greatest ever to wear a Duke uniform.
And the foul on Domzalski.
And there's been a lot of great players here at Duke, but I really believe it. You talk about complete player. I mean, there's been some super plays. Look, there's my all-time club. What do you think, Brent? I know you like Dawkins. I mean, player of the year, Hurley, Berry, Leitner, Hill. And we left off guys like Heyman, Art Heyman, Jeff Mullins. Think about the guys, Jaminski and Banks, that have worn the uniform here at Duke. You like that club?
Great team.
Not a bad club.
Great team.
Danny Ferry, it's great to see him doing it.
But I got a team over in Chapel Hill that will show up and play it.
They're not bad down there.
Or a team from UCLA. That's even better. They're probably closer by, come to think of it.
Well, I'm gonna put you on a spot right now. You're a coach. You can only have one of two. Who do you want? You always put me on a spot. Kareem or Walton as your center. Don't say both. Don't say power forward for one. One or the other.
Collins up with the shot. Run down by Wojo, and it's back into Chris's hands on the penetration. Field goal, and Duke with the lead, 46-36.
Nice drive by Collins.
Charles O'Bannon, but hold on. There was a whistle before he began his penetration. Pushing foul.
See, he's thinking right now, John Saunders and Mike Jarvis. I want to know
who you want.
Yeah, that's who I want. I want that club. Give me Hazard and Goodrich. Give me Alcindor in the middle. I love Walton, but you can only take one, and I take Alcindor, put my neck on the line, and I go with Wicks and Johnson. Who do you want?
Bill Russell.
You want Russell?
No, listen, I would have to agree with you based on longevity. But I will tell you, the 1 year that Walton led the Blazers to the championship.
Oh, we're talking college. No NBA.
No NBA.
Just college.
Well, Kareem still had one of the greatest careers in the history of basketball, either the collegiate or the professional.
I think he's the greatest center of all time. When you talk complete offense, defense, and everything.
Capel on the break.
Nice transition. Great pass out. Good catch by Capel. I tell you, talk Collins and Capel. They both come from great basketball families. As we know, Chris's dad, coach of the Pistons. Capel's dad, coach of Old Dominion. They understand hoops.
Back to Dollar. Can't hit the trays.
Not his strength shooting the ball. There's the open three.
Off the mark. And into Henderson's hands. And UCLA seeking Dick for a hot hand. Duke up by 12.
Nice look.
Johnson trying to get it done. And that's 18 points.
Nice catch. Good penetration by Dollar. The one thing that right there by Dollar. Good baseline drive. He's a lot quicker than he was last year. Lost about 30 to 40 pounds and is really a much more complete player. Hey, talking about complete player, we want to say congrats to Mike Jarvis as well. Just a tremendous job. I mean, unbelievable what he did to go to Mullins Center and to beat a terrific basketball team.
I think he's beaten him 4 straight times.
Yeah, he's beat him. The only guy to beat
2
him
years
twice.
in a row up there.
Yeah,
48-39. Duke with the lead here in 13-20.
They beat a heck of a team, 26-1. They're still a great team. I'm voting them number 2, Massachusetts, right behind Kentucky. Atlantic 10 should be smiling with George Washington and Temple.
Domzalski. Offensive rebound, Brunson. Lojo. Collins.
Scoring. You can't allow him to get his body squared at the goal on the top of the circle like the old Plyo players. Sing, baby. Fire. There's fire here at Cameron. Call the fire chief. This place is exploding.
Johnson.
Oh, is it allowed? Wait till next week when the heels come here, Brent.
Capel. Bruins. Bailey in the middle. Turnover.
He is not really a point guard. He can't handle the basketball that well. He's a much more effective player without the basketball. There's the difference here today. You can't tell me the three-point shot doesn't change the game and revolutionize it. There's a look. And there's a look at Toby Bailey, who's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, you cannot play at this level without a single three, Dick, with 12:20 to go and stay competitive.
And especially when the other club utilizes it so well. Duke is on record this year, breaking the school record for most threes made in a year.
Lojo. Rice.
Playing really smart with the basketball. Ricky Price, Capel, that whole gang, Wojciechowski. Crowd trying to help him as they're counting down the shot clock.
Newton.
There's trouble, baby. There's trouble in Tinseltown today. Like Krzyzewski, he's trying to put the knockout punch for an NCAA berth. He wins today. It's knockout city, no decision. Look at those Cameron crazies jumping up and down. They had the tents out last night. I came on the campus here about 11 o'clock with a couple of my buddies who you met, and they were like in awe, my buddies, of what took place here. Jimmy Hurd smiling, not smiling on the inside.
That is 13 Bruin turnovers. Timeout. Which will head into the ACC tournament and the NCAA. No question about it. One of the more improved teams that we've seen, Dick.
They really have improved. So look at here, turnovers and points off the turnovers. And it's going to get better and better in the future. He's got 4 new players next year. Rashawn McLeod sitting out from St. John's, a first transfer. He's got 2 great recruits, Mike Capel and Chris Carrawell coming in. And he's got Trajan Langdon, who'll be here next year, who's sitting out as a medical red shirt.
Bailey has assessed the personal by Croft. He didn't think he fouled him. He thinks that he had made the steal.
Langdon right there on a bench. He's sitting out, had a problem with his knee, had surgery, but they expect him to be back full force next year. And he's not done recruiting, as you and I saw. We met some of the kids here today. Nate James, a great high school player. Shaheen Holloway.
Into Dollar's hands on the turnover. Dollar cut off by Price.
The whole difference in this game has been 2 factors. Number 1, the three-point shot, and number 2, the invisibility of Bailey and Henderson. Hey, Brent, both guys have a total of about, one guy's got 4, the other guy 3. They're averaging 30 between them. I mean, you got to have those guys show on the road, and neither guy has shown here the kind of ability that they have. UCLA was terrific last year, though. In the NCAA tournament, their run, they had that miracle play by Tyus Edney to beat Missouri, who I'll see tomorrow against Kansas. The Jayhawks, what a program that guy's running, Roy Williams. You and I met his son, Scott, plays for North Carolina Junior Varsity, a great young kid.
53-41. Duke leading UCLA at the 10:40 mark. Capel banged by Dollar, no foul, and now they get it into Newton, and the foul goes against Charles O'Bannon.
This game is not tucked away, obviously. A 12-point lead with 10 minutes to go against an explosive UCLA team. But we have not seen a spurt yet by UCLA. We keep waiting to see this team that has really turned the corner after a poor start. They've really played well this year, most of the year, but we haven't seen it here this afternoon. They're going to a zone right now. Zoning on the inbounds from the baseline. 2-3. A lot of gaps in the middle.
Capel will come to the line.
His brother's a sensational prospect. Capel's brother, his dad coaches at Old Dominion. As we look at Toby Bailey, having a tough day. He was sensational. All the media were drooling last year when he put 26 points on a board to beat a good Arkansas team that was trying to go back-to-back.
The old sophomore jinx.
You really believe in those things? Really? Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes if you have great success when you're young and that, you think the game's pretty easy. You find out maybe not so easy. And tonight, a reminder on ABC starts with an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by a brand new Lois and Clark. Then Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones star in Under Siege on the Sunday night movie tonight on ABC.
You say it, I believe it, I trust it. Anything you say now, after you told me last year, you said UCLA, whatever you tell me, I do. I'm your valet, I'm your caddy. I go around, I open doors for you. I do the whole thing. When I have John Saunders on the road, I do it for John. I mean, I'm just a guy going along for the ride.
Through the years, you've talked for a lot of us. 10 minutes to go now, 55-43, Duke up by 12.
McCoy scored on the inside. San Diego, nice little give and go.
And back in it.
Give it up. Jam City.
Bailey.
Yes, that's Toby Bailey we saw against Arkansas. The high riser. Toby, where have you been?
Now coming up on 9.5 minutes, and the Bruins have whittled it to 10.
They finally got a transition layup.
Domzalski. That was too easy, Dick.
Yeah, it was too easy, and he did a great job sealing off the defense. Taman Domzalski has really improved his ability to post inside.
O'Bannon, the trifecta.
That's what he needs. Sir Charles can shoot the three, shooting 40% from three-point range. Charles O'Bannon.
The first three, Dick, of the day for the Bruins at UCLA with 9 minutes to go.
Good point, Brad. That's what they'll need, a couple of threes. Newman really effective, getting it in deep. UCLA not taking away the deep low post position.
8:49.
I got a feeling we're going to have a heck of a finish.
And O'Bannon trying to give us one. Not there. Domzalski doubled up. Gets it off to Collins.
He's been solid today. He's really been solid, Domzalski.
Collins smash. Will come to the free throw line. Dempsey picking up the personal.
Do you think anybody had a chance to recruit Taman Domzalski when a guy like Krzyzewski walked in with a bag of Kabasi? Right now, we're going to watch him in transition. Here goes Bailey with the jam. He can really pop off the floor. Tim O'Toole, a fine assistant coach, used to be at Syracuse. Congrats to Jimmy Boeheim. 15 years in a row. He's won 20 or more games. James Boeheim. Look at his names. Domzalski, Wojciechowski, Krzyzewskis, Givens. Why can't we have names like Jones and Smith and Carter and Vital and Musburgers easily? I mean, are you kidding? Wojciechowskis and Domzalskis. They make it so tough for us, Brent.
8:20, 61-48. The Blue Devils holding off the Bruins. Just when you think UCLA might make a run, Dick, Duke jumps right back into control. They've let it all away. Bailey, the trifecta. Quickly, they put 2 trays on the board, but is that enough? They're still down by 10, 8 minutes.
Toby Bailey's the second player in the history of UCLA to have a triple-double. He followed the performance by Jelani McCoy. It's got so many great players that have worn that UCLA uniform proudly.
Bojo. Henderson's rebound.
He's been quiet. He's got to get involved. He's their leading scorer, J.R. Henderson. Versatile player. Beat Kentucky last year early in the season on a free throw line, making some big free throws as a freshman. Nice cut. Nice
Bannon, and he'll come to the free throw line. So Bannon quietly leading him back into contention here.
They're a different club with him on the floor. He's a scoring threat. He's a transition player. He brings winning experience to the floor. We're going to watch Johnson with the good feed, and there's O'Bannon cutting without the basketball. Tough play for a left-handed player going away from the basket, making that conversion. I just think his brother is such a great role model in terms of work ethic and how he battled back from such a serious knee injury to be the #1 player in the country.
Collins on that far sideline. Wojo.
UCLA needs a defensive stop right here.
They get it. And the ball. 7:13 remaining.
They have an
61-53. And Bailey now goes for the three into Collins's hands.
And then he fouled. They caught him with a foul after he attempted the shot.
Putting them at 7. So we're going to come up here at this end and be shooting.
Hey, Brett, I look at the ACC. I see Wake Forest certainly as a lock. Georgia Tech wins another overtime game. They're in the tournament as a lock. North Carolina will be in again. And certainly I think Duke is a lock. Those 4 on the bubble fighting for a 5th spot, depending on what happens in the tournament, will be someone like a Maryland and maybe even a Clemson, but it's very doubtful. Those clubs look like they might be heading to the NIT.
That's the 4th personal, Dick, on Toby Bailey, who has had a bit of a nightmare here today with 7:05 remaining. Collins makes it 62-53. Into Bailey's hands.
It's awfully hot in this gym. Fatigue. Both clubs, though, not a very deep. Both clubs are not very deep. Both clubs really play about 6-7 guys tops.
Charles O'Bannon, the most rested, and he yanked it away. Gets it into Johnson's hands and maneuvers for the layup.
I'll tell you, he's got that special ability and that knack for scoring around the basket, but an excellent play by Charles O'Bannon.
Down to 7 now. Dick at 6:25.
Going to get down to how well they play on the defensive end if they're going to make this go down to the wire. Good timeout by Mike Krzyzewski.
The Bruins, with Charles O'Bannon leading the way, have eased back into this game at the 6:19 mark. So we'll take a break from the camera and come right back.
This place that you remember how tough it was, huh?
Hey, it's Big George, not Big Charles, man. I thought you said Big Charles.
Oh, yeah, I said George. I meant George.
It's a great place to play. It's obviously tough for the opposing team, but, you know, it's a great place to play. Obviously tough with all these people just yelling and screaming at you. It's tough, but you can't just take the crowd out of the game, and then you get a big advantage. Because they're big 6 men.
Right.
Big help.
Hey, listen, Charlotte Hornets, you guys going to make the playoffs or what?
Oh, yeah, we will. You know, I think we've been playing really well lately, and we'll make the playoffs.
All right, George, enjoy yourself. Good to see you.
Lewis, here's Dollar coming in for the Bruins now, and his former team is right back in the thick of it now. 5:52, 62-57. Here we go, Mr. Vitek.
Don't leave now. Tremendous transition right there by UCLA. That's UCLA's game. Rebound, run the court, take advantage of their athletic ability. They can be so explosive.
The 3 from and suddenly it's an 22 points for Doug's son, Chris Collins.
And Doug jumps out of his seat. Hey, Doug, you didn't shoot the rock like your kid, baby. But Doug was a great player for Illinois State.
Henderson, it'll stay.
They look like they're stepping it up now. Henderson's made 2 big plays here in the last 2 possessions, but they're going to have to lock up. Perimeter defense is big against Duke. You got to shut down the 3. John Chaney did with Temple. He came right out with that matchup zone. John does one of the great coaching jobs in all of basketball. He blew out Virginia Tech today.
Here we've got 5 minutes, 65-59. Blue Devils with the lead, but UCLA's whittled away. Collins missing that, but into the hands of Newton. Deflected out of bounds by Bailey.
Too many offensive rebounds for Duke. You got to block out. You got to get position. What's 4? What's 4? He's signaling 4. What is it, Brent? He wants 4. What kind of play is that? I want to see it.
We're going to set a screen with Domzalski. We were trying to bring Price through on the other side, and it got interrupted down there. They got a double screen deck down on the other side.
Let's see for. Let's see who he's calling it for. He got a.
That's coming up Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 100% Colombian Coffee presents the World Alpine Skiing Championships. The World Sprint Speed Skating Championships from the Netherlands will also be on Saturday right here on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
So many games, we get to winning time, the last 5 minutes, the free throw line, special situations, execution against pressure. You better be able to make those things happen. This kid has finally become a solid contributor for this Duke basketball team.
Big time performance for Domzalski today. It's 67-59, 4.5 minutes.
And the crowd does everything they can. You talk about electricity and you talk about environments. This place is just so special, like tomorrow up there in Lawrence. That's another special place I'll be at.
On the turnover, Collins
got the trailer. Got the
3
trailer.
on 1.
There's the trailer. Yes! Wow, unbelievable. Recognizing the trailer. They get a TO, baby. Great play by the little guy. Collins with the great look to the trailer. Oh, his dad must be so proud. Dougie. That's your boy, Dougie. That's your boy.
And we've got a timeout. Duke leading by 10.
Regional action on Payne Weber College basketball Saturday on ABC Sports.
Payne Weber believes the best investment is an investment in education. They salute Steve Wojciechowski as the Payne Weber Scholar Athlete of the Game and congratulate him on his own investment in the future. Payne Weber recognizes that commitment to education with a $1,000 donation to Duke University for ongoing research. 69-59, UCLA trailing by 10. Bailey misses the shot, yanked away by Capel. Duke up 10, 3:46 on the clock, Mr. Vitale.
That was a good shot right there by Bailey. Just did not go down. You're the Duke crowd. You don't want to start chanting overrated. Chris Collins been such a spark. He's following up a great performance on the road when he had 7 threes, the tie of school record against Florida State, and he's made a lot of big shots here this afternoon. They're using the clock right now, trying to play really smart at the end of the game. Nice look.
Domzalski off the dish by Collins.
I'll tell you, Collins has made some big shots, but his last 2 passes have been superb to the trailer and then the dribble penetration. We're going to watch a little penetration down the lane, the spin in the lane, and then a little dump down while he's up in the air. And Domzalski's starting to become a guy that can finish. Look how much. Look, he's saying, get down. Get down defensively. What coaches wouldn't do. Jarvis, did you do that? Wow. Maybe that's what he does when he goes to play Calipari up there in Mullins Center. Get down defensively with Poole and the gas. He's got the little guard now. What do you see this guard for George Washington? Rogers.
Now here is Dollar, and there's no question.
Oh, look at the hand.
He will not use it as an alibi, but he has been bothered by turnover today several times, being caused because of the trouble he has with that hand. You can notice the rotation is even difficult for him. So it's 71-60 now, Dick.
And he has the other hand as well. Broke the pinky on both sides. They're going to a full court trap. Duke handles the ball well. Tough team to try and trap. You don't want to pick up your dribble. See, good spacing. Price. Good spacing. Hey, Price said no to Tixel down. And they're slapping high fives here on camera. Ricky Price, the super sub.
There are 2 more years on this contract between UCLA and Duke, and it's becoming a very good rivalry. And now they're going to apparently exchange blowouts. Last year it was all UCLA out in Los Angeles, and today it's the Blue Devils up 13.
There's Ricky averaging 18.3 a game, flying in the sky. Little Skywalker time, averaging 18.3 a game. His last 7 games, he's playing for bragging rights when he gets back home to L.A. He's going to have that strut. You know that cool strut that you have when you're a star? You know, I watch when you walk out there. You got that star kind of walk. I'm trying to emulate it. I'm trying to follow that kind of glide and slide you have.
You're so busy selling books.
you're going to tell them I'm selling books, tell them the name of my book. I mean, I should not tell them it's Holding Court, should I? You're not allowed to do that. The book is Holding Court. I can't.
Holding Court is a good read. How's that? I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
73-62. Hoops Weiss helped you out on that. 2:30.
ACC, as we said earlier, playing for a little respect here, a little Aretha Franklin time, because they've really struggled in terms of marquee games. Massachusetts beats Wake Forest. Georgia Tech gets beat by Georgetown in Mass. I mean, it's a showtime. We know he can make the three, but he's passing, he's driving, he's cheerleading, he's doing it all. He's diving and hustling. I mean, look at this. Look at this. He's hugging, tackling. Look at this. He's tackling. What is he doing? He wants to bite him. He wants to kiss him. He's hugging him. Collins is going wacky. He's showing his love. Oh, he can play for me. He will be a coach. Look at those numbers, Brent Musburger. Look at Collins' numbers. I know you know his dad well.
Doug Collins was a great basketball player.
Oh, he's got to be so proud. This kid puts his heart and soul in it. I love him. I tell you that. Wow. Let's look at Toby Bailey on that sideline. Toby certainly a great talent. UCLA making this trip out here. You know, it's very difficult. You got to commend both coaches willing to play a game like this during the heart of the season when you're battling for tournament berths. Yet they're not afraid to play in a big-time game. And Illinois, forget about Mr. Krzyzewski. No shot. Unless they can get the Pope. If they can call up the Pope and get the Pope to talk to him, there might be a shot. And I don't think they'll achieve that. Because it's not going to be about cash. He makes a lot of cash here.
Collins again.
Hey, he can do no wrong. He can do no wrong. He's a PTPer tonight. Doug Collins. He can do no wrong. Oh, he's got 26. What a show by Collins. I don't know, Brent. Maybe it's me, but this place, if you love college basketball, you owe it to yourself to get to this arena one time and feel this electricity as you watch the conversion by Collins. You've been to a lot of places, probably more than myself over the years and all your travels. Isn't this place unbelievable?
If you like air conditioning, you can skip it.
But forget about it. So you sweat a little, you get in the shower, and we're up high, so we're high. It is one of the great environments. It really is. Even though I'm drenched, I'm absolutely drenched up here. In fact, Jimmy Herrick was telling you and I that he hopes to have some changes down at UCLA in the future to get the students, the priority to get them on the floor in 3 different sections. As you look at the numbers, Collins here, and there's a look at the summary. 3-point shots been big, big for Duke. 8-7.
Minute and a half, and the Blue Devils are going to repay the Bruins for the licking they took out in the Poly Pavilion a year ago, and they will meet again next year in Los Angeles.
And there is no doubt that Duke will be part of the teams when they're announced. Last year was very strange not to see the name Duke. All right, Doug, I promise I won't tell you that your son took a bad shot, because I know you took a few in your career. I promise.
For UCLA, well, you wonder under Jim Herrick, the message he delivered today, his star, Charles O'Bannon, sitting out the entire first half. And you wonder, this is one of the worst lickings this team has taken this year. But who knows, they may turn the corner now and make a spirited bid to defend their championship.
Well, they can win the next 4 games in a row, have a strong finish. I think he's looking at long-term rather than worrying about short-term. You think about losing a guy on their sideline. I just love Lorenzo Romar, who they're losing to Pepperdine. I'm going to give you their replacement. I just had a spy tell me. They don't even know it. You want to know who they're going to hire to replace Lorenzo?
Former Bruin?
Former Bruin. He's an assistant coach now, and he will be back. Michael Holton will be on that sideline, and he will join Jimmy Herrick. And believe me, Jimmy did not tell me that. I got some sources, baby, that called me. Ricky, you could smile going back to California. Michael would be a great choice, too. He played for the UCLA team, special guard. Ricky Price, happy, finally becoming a star. Collins will be big man on campus. You and I will be back here next Sunday. That'll be special when the Heels come to town. North Carolina and Duke. It doesn't ever get better. I don't care what the records are. It doesn't get better than that, John Saunders and Mike Jarvis. Mike says, what are you talking about? Beating Mass gets better and better. There's nothing better than that.
Let's straighten the shot clock out.
Kentucky, though, still head and shoulders the class in America. Hey, I ran into Phyllis George. She told me to send my best to you and how much she enjoyed working with you.
I know she loves that basketball program out of Kentucky.
She's got a son, Lincoln, playing high school now as Mr. Johnson goes to the sideline. I think that Jimmy Herrick, you got to remember this. We didn't see the real UCLA out of the gate without Charles O'Bannon, #1. But I think in the long term, the message he's sending is getting loud and clear to all his players. I want discipline, and we're going to do things as a family and as a UCLA team. And I think Charles will get the message because he has great family with his mom and dad, his brother. And it was not a major thing that he did. A little thing, missed a little workout or two.
Do you know what I think might be one of the most entertaining postseason events of the year, and that would be this year's ACC basketball tournament.
Wide open.
I don't think anybody
is
a clear-cut favorite to win it this year. You know, when I think about it, I, of course, have liked Georgia Tech and the improvement. I thought they were going to come on, and they have. But Mike Krzyzewski and Duke have made believers out of a lot of us today, too. We didn't think this team could become as good as it is right now, but he's a coach who instills desire, intelligence. The youngsters have it all again.
And he instills confidence and belief. He's a winner.
Singleton.
Everybody contributes off the bench. Singleton. A big day for the Dukies. Yes, Duke winning spirit is back big time on a national scene. They won the Great Alaska Shootout. You know, they beat Iowa when Iowa was highly rated. They beat Indiana. Connecticut was part of that and lost to Iowa in overtime. Jeff Capel feeling good. Smiles. Nothing like winning. We didn't see those smiles last year, Brant, when they were going through that struggle. Work ethic. Have a sense of pride. Last year you saw jubilation on that bench.
So they're chanting at the recruits again, come to Duke, come to Duke, come to Duke. And no doubt several of them will. This is a great school. 82-66, final 20 seconds.
Why not finish it off in style? Why not finish it off in style? Yes, my friend, you were a star. But he appreciates the work of his teammates. Look at that smile. Mr. Basketball in Illinois when he was a high school player. He was in the Illini as well in terms of living in Chicago. Harry Love was a star up in Alaska. Collins played well out there. Mr. Alaska, Trajan Langdon behind him. All the
Lloyd missing.
All the Dukies can smile. Vic Bubas and company are here today, bringing back memories of all yesteryear when they had those great teams in the 60s with the Havens and the Burgers and the Mullins.
That's going to do it. The 4th straight win of the year for the Duke Blue Devils. They tie their longest win streak of the season, 85-66.